This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Well, these two were one of the reasons why I wanted to get into radio. Because
Thank you, Fitz. What, me and Whip?
Kate, yeah, I've always loved your career.
Thank you.
Growing up, Triple J, the music, and Adam and Wil were on air in the early noughties and absolutely adored this show. And they are reuniting for the first time in a long time. You can go get tickets sale on now at comedy.com.au. The magnificent Adam Spencer and Wil Anderson.
Hello.
So nothing that makes you feel older, Kate, than somebody saying you're the reason they got into something in the first place.
Or when they stop you in the street and they go, my granny, my mum thinks you're awesome.
My mum loves you.
My mum was, my biggest fan. People say to me, my mum was your biggest fan. Rest in peace. She's gone now of natural causes. But...
Did you boys hear about Lawsy's hung up the mic again for the second time? Yes. 89 years of age, 71 years on the mic, Spence.
Are we allowed to announce that next year on Triple J Breakfast it's Adam, Wil and Lawsy?
Yeah. Is it really?
Can we drop that? It is.
An official.
It's going to rock.
Thanks for the exclusive,
Mate,
Spence.
he's massive on his Aussie hip-hop.
On the jazz.
Lawsy loves it.
Imagine him introducing...
Woods, you know what I mean?
Can you tell us about the days at the ABC? Because I know, and everyone talks about, it's the ABC, so you don't get much. But that early noughties, I mean, you were getting free CDs, free gigs, Spence. Like, what were some of the perks at the ABC?
Free CDs.
Free air.
Yeah.
Haven't they been a great investment for us? All those boxes of
went long.
motor race CDs. Motor race. Lying around at home. Haven't they just gone up in value like cryptocurrency?
But we were there when the whole Unearth thing began, which is now this digital thing. But Unearth we used to be going, okay, so if you're in Western Victoria listening on 93.7 FM, this is your turn on Unearth. Record your music, send it into us, and the due date is Friday the whatever. And each one of them, by about the Wednesday or Thursday, we're going, okay, this thing's finally run out of steam. We've received only 3 entries. And then the day before or the day of, a mailbag turns up with 500 CDs.
Or cassette tapes.
Or cassette tapes made by people at home, recording while and they would divvy them up and listen to it.
Divvy them up, by the way. Like, people think that there would be some special, group of people whose job it was to listen to them all. Everyone in the office would get like 15 of them each that you had to go home. And so there's probably like a silver chair out there who got overlooked because I was like, this is rubbish.
And with the greatest of respect to the people who were listening on 93.7, like 80% of them were just terrible, right? Yeah. But there was one year, and I won't name the band that won, but there's one guy who was famous around Triple J. He overlooked the Vines.
Oh, my gosh.
The Vines sent him essentially they sent him 10 songs on a CD, and it was their debut album that a year later won multiple ARIAs and all that.
Yeah.
And he went,
nah. Get free on it.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And he went, nah. But these guys you'll never hear of again. They're my nomination. Ding.
I mean, it was kind of right, just one album too soon.
Yeah. Big hello to the sick puppies if they're listening.
Is that what I seat of the pants? That's what it was like? Like it was...
It was incredible at the day because, I mean, people... Yeah, so Adam and I, just before text lines and you could get feedback from... Like, we were in the age where I remember on air one day Adam saying to me, hey, there's this new company called Google that have just formed and I think it's really going to change things. And, of course, so you live through those events. Mostly, we used to answer our own phones. Yep. So this is the thing that people don't realise. If you rang us, we would go to a song and then Adam and I would be the people...
Hello, Wil speaking.
Did you guys have celebrity feuds back then? You did. There was a few celebrities that you had a crack at.
What do you mean?
Or did you have...
I mean, there was a few over the years that we had. I remember one morning. Now, look, this one in retrospect, I feel a bit bad about because he's no longer with us. That's the problem with us, having done things a long time ago as well. But we had, so most of the time on the station, the great thing was that people were only coming in because they wanted to. Normally they were. So we had great experiences with Dave Grohl or Chris Martin, all these people who would come in and they'd just be such great guests on the show because they loved the music we were playing, the support we'd given their bands.
And the bands loved it because Triple J played a special play in the music.
Yeah, right.
Architecture at the time. Sometimes your actors were more...
roped in and maybe hadn't seen their schedule and known they were going to come in to do the show. And there's one in particular particular I'm talking about, rest in peace, great actor, Heath Ledger, and he had done the Ned Kelly movie. Remember he did the Ned Kelly movie? And he came into our studio and it was like he had been taken hostage and brought in. Like there's never been less enthusiastic about being in a radio interview.
You sometimes get one-word answers. He was on the verge of doing a one-word interview.
Oh, no.
Just nothing.
You know that point where you can actually literally, you're like, what's that clicking in the background? Oh, it's people switching their radios. Like, was giving us nothing. And so I thought, well, I'll try to make a little joke, and because he's doing this like quite serious actory speech about, I just wanted to understand why Ned Kelly was so tortured and why he was like so serious and the soul of the man. And I said, do you reckon it might be just because he always had really bad hat hair? And this is what Heath Ledger says to me. That's not very funny, is it? And so I say, I didn't see 10 Things I Hate About You twice, mate. Which is also a lie, because I did. It's a great film. And I can recommend it.
And I can now label one more.
Yeah, and I was quickly... Anyway, here's the latest from Powderfinger. You're listening to Triple J.
Oh, that is
moment.
There'll be magic moments like that on stage at the 20-year reunion.
There you go.
I cannot wait for this. Adam and Wil, you can catch them reuniting for the first time in a long time. They're going to be playing in Sydney at the Factory Theatre November 9 and November 10. You can go to comedy.com.au if you want your tickets. Love you, boys. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure,
Thanks,
guys.
Awesome.
Fits in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.